Hello guys, Krios here with Ableton Advanced Community. We will be looking at a product from Output called Signal Pulse Engine. I've done quite a few products reviews of theirs, and you can check out the other videos. I'm pretty much gone through all of them so far. Some of them are a little bit older, and I'm probably going to update them because I've had this product since 2018, and I have a love-hate relationship with this company. I will be doing a video next to kind of show you what I've gone through in the last 3 years with this company. It's been some downhill slides with them, so I still love the product. Like I said, it's a love-hate. The next video is going to be all about that. I'll show you emails and kind of what I've been doing, and I'll show you about the hub and their website and just fighting with getting any response from customer service. But that's not what this video is about. We're going to talk about Pulse Engine, which I have a love-hate too. This is probably one of my biggest ones that I have issues with, and we're going to dive right into it. If you've watched all the other review videos, which I'm sure you have, and you've landed here, well, welcome. You're going to get a very honest opinion about this thing. All the other videos are like, wow, this thing is so cool, and really they don't dive into the fundamentals and the building blocks of the instrument, because if they did, you would hear the disappointment of it. Now, yes, you can get great sounding stuff out of this. It's a very awesome thing, but on a fundamental level, it's very disappointing, and I'll show you why. So, just like all the rest of their products, the UI here is just awesome. I mean, that's one thing they've nailed, is their UI and the friendliness of just using it. This thing begs to be used, and when you look at a Output product, it is such it's a pleasurable to look at, and it's very easy to see what's going on. So as you can see here, we are loaded into Contact. We have pulse engines, we have effects, we have our selection here for finding things, which is very very cool. Like for your presets, you can come down here and select different criteria and get different results. As of now, I think I've got most of the bundle here. They might have a few more packs that are out there, but as far as I know, I own all of their stuff. So very cool on finding things and being able to get to things and quickly. So I do appreciate that. Like I said, that's one thing they've really nailed, is the usability of their user interface. And as always, they I think this is the kind of the core engine for the rest of the products. They seem to kind of follow suit of what Signal has here, so in some ways anyway. So without further ado, we're going to go into pulse engines right now. This is the kind of heart of it. So in here we're going to click that, and then you'll see that we have some areas down here. We have area A, or pulse engine A, and then we have pulse engine B. We're just going to be focusing on this right now because this is a clone of this, and realistically you can figure out the complexity and how to do this later on. You can go through the presets and see how you can manipulate this and do it, but right now I'm giving you the real deal, fundamental parts of Signal. So it starts off on the initial settings. If you come in here and you go into the initial preset here, that's going to give you the no bells and whistles. It's going to start you off with just an analog saw, and of course they have to add the main rhythm here. You're going to get a wave on a 16th. So we're going to turn this off right now. Let's go into the heart of Signal and see what you get. This is what you're putting into the rest of the product here and the engine. And let's go through some of this here. We're going to kind of do this really quickly, but I think this is very important for you to understand this product. If you're about to spend a lot of money on it, this is what you're getting. This is what you're putting in. And yeah, so let's dive in. So first is analog sine. This is the meat of it right here. These are the best parts of it. So you're turning on that channel first. So analog sine. and I've got nothing coming out. That's because my volume's all the way down. All right, Krios. Let's turn this up a little bit for you guys, because I know the instrument's a little bit quiet. I usually, well, I have my utility over there, but we'll keep it there so you can hear my voice. So, analog sine there, very nice and decent. Analog saw. And I'll try to go up and down the keys just slightly a little bit. I'm trying to run a mouse and everything else, so. And I put the oscilloscope on here, and we've checked all this, and they're good recordings. Nothing that you couldn't get or put in here by yourself. I mean, if you're spending this much on a product, you probably have any of these. Deep. Sine pluck. So we've gone through pretty much all their waves, and now we're going to get into some kind of, you know, their more complex sounding things, at least according to them. So dirty sample. Sounds like they just saturated it, or, you know, put some grit on it. Now we're coming up to my first disappointment with them, and this is my second time downloading this and installing the software, and each time I have to really fight with them because for some reason their hub is not working, and the installation process can be a really pain. Back when I first started, they were very responsive. They seem to have gone to Zendesk, and it takes, you know, a week, 2 weeks to get a response. So if you're going to have an issue, that might be one thing. Like I said, we're going to dive into that in another video here that I'll be making probably next. So here's AirPoly. You can see when I load it up, we've got 9 megabytes up here, and lo and behold, I hit the keys. There's nothing there. And I've got a couple of these in all their products where there's just some things that are not there. Some sample is missing. And it's not that I don't know how to install things. I have a lot of stuff. I've spent money on this. Believe me, I've done a lot of research and installing these things and batch saving, and my computer is pretty decent. I've got an 8700K and I'm all SSD. So yeah, no AirPoly. Clean poly? Negative. We don't have anything here. There's nothing there. Now, I'm sure there could be something wrong, but like I said, this is twice now. I've actually just had an issue where I needed to reinstall everything, and very nightmare experience that I've had. Detune poly. Look at that. There's a note here that's just not going. A right here is not going. A sharp, no. There we go. Very weird, huh? And that's on a couple of other instruments too, and a couple of their settings in here are going to have the same exact thing going on, and other products have these same issues. I've written them. I will hear back from them in a couple of weeks. I'll let you guys know. I'm going to really be following up on this. This is where it kind of gets neat. I feel like they pulled some of this from Rev, probably. Particles as well. Sounds like some layered things. Maybe some Rev stuff. I notice they recycle a lot of things throughout. You know, nothing wrong with that. Again, felt piano. Look at that whole section. Nothing working. It's also down here too as well. I think the first section down here. Nothing, 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 nothing. There we go. That whole section. So there's just a whole bunch of chopped out sections of the octaves that are just missing here out of felt. Electric piano. Now, here's another bugaboo of mine here. It's okay. I mean, that is, like, there's a few instruments in here that are like, you know, they just don't really hit it for me. Harmonium, I mean, that's alright, I guess. Sorry about that. Hit my mic. The harp, it doesn't speak to me. From a company that has, they record a lot of stuff professionally, does that sound like a professional recorded harp? It doesn't. It sounds like something that was programmed on a Casio. Okay. Celeste. Yeah, so we got a toy box looking thing. Again, these yellow keys down here, maybe I'm missing something, and I'll maybe dive back through, but I thought these were supposed to do something. And the blue sections too. Some on the other ones, they seem to control some parameters, but I may be missing something, but it seems kind of weird. Nothing down there. Maramba, here's another one that's going to kind of be like, ugh. I mean, you can go get a free marimba that sounds better than that. The guitar says Casio. This will be the guitar with a little bit of distortion. Yeah, you know, I'm sorry, I had to play a little bit there. Muted guitar, bowed guitar. Again, it's just very cheap sounding sounds here. Probably one of their better ones right there. The upright actually sounds pretty decent. Probably not in the higher range though. Let's... Yeah, you know, that's actually one of their better ones that I'm finding out here. Cello, don't even get me started. It almost sounds like it's in, like it came from a Rev, and it's like Casio through Rev or something. I know cello's hard to do, but this is output here, man. Come on, guys. You know, I mean, that's just something with a whole bunch of effects on. I mean, yeah, I mean, of course, when we start manipulating this, yeah, I mean, you're going to get good results, but wouldn't it be cool if the core elements were actually good core elements? Just saying. Okay, another one of my my issues here is these drum sections. They kind of all sound the same, and it's kind of weird when you solo them out in the initial setting. Tell me if I'm missing something here, because a large kick drum case struck with the hand, producing a very deep and crunchy sound. Does that sound crunchy? And I don't know. Yeah, I mean, maybe there's something that I'm missing here. No, I'm sorry. Let's go back into this. Cancel that. I hit the wrong button. Claps here. Anvil. Stick. I feel like I'm hitting the same thing through all of these. I feel like this is all garbage down here. But the funny thing is when you go into some of these presets, they actually sound different. So I don't know what's going on here. There's some bugs in the programming here, or at least in the download or install. There's something that's gotten messed up with me, and I can't seem to fix it. And like I said, I've contacted them, and we're gonna, I'll update you guys on what's going on with this. Okay, so those are your instruments here. So we're gonna go back into the pulse. So that's it right here, and there's nothing that you can do to manipulate any of this. So you have some basic functions in this here that you can kind of do, and they have that in the advanced tab. So before we go into the advanced tab, which is not that advanced, let's check out this right here to give you a couple of controls because they're right after that fundamental bass elements that you have there. You can tune it, obviously, pan, volume. I shouldn't have to explain all that stuff, but here we go. You have your range settings, velocity sensitive. We can, for while you're playing around, we'll go ahead and turn this down so you guys get it. And your voices, how many you can play at once. All that's pretty self-explanatory. Advanced mode here, we're going to come into this, and we're just basically going to have volumes for your rhythms here. Kind of cool. You can control that. That should be in there. And then down here we have some filter, a couple different filter types off here on the left, your controls for your filter, and then we have some tube, and then we have bite, some distortion type things here. So over here we have some ADSR for your pitch and ADSR for volume, which I feel like maybe that some of that could be, I don't know. I guess I get it. It's in the advanced section. It could have been made a little bit bigger. I don't know. I'm kind of weird about that, but there it is. It's hidden in the advanced part of it, and I guess that's something that could be hidden away, I suppose. And that leads us into our next piece of this the pulse engine here. So once you pick those sounds, you're going to go into the main rhythm here. And rhythm 2 is just going to be a copy of this over here. So we're just going to focus on one right now. And we have 4 different sections to choose from. So you have a wave, which is going to modulate the volume. And if we come back out of this, we can pick our rate of the pulse wave here. So we're going to keep it on 16th. Like I said, you can explore. I'm giving you the fundamentals of it. I'm not going to whip out the bells and whistles and go, damn, this thing is fucking cool. Because it is cool, but it also, like I said, there's some bad things about it. No one speaks about this stuff, but here I am, the bad guy, talking about some of the things that I am displeased with it. So we have our wave here, and you have shapes down here. We have some simple, medium, and complex. Pretty cool. And this is where things start getting interesting, and then mixing them together is just cool as hell, and this is what this kind of fixes all of this. But it would be really nice that if, hey, for I feel like we've, for lack of a better term, you've polished a turd. So anyway, that's my take on that. We're going to go into step. Step is going to be like a gate, and you can see that's our second choice in there. And we can modify, we can clear, we can reverse it, we can invert. We have a step count, so we can get more in there. And once you select that, see how it's empty, when you go back into the step pattern, it'll go to that number of steps for you. Very nice. And we can go and select our patterns. We have simple, syncopated, and triplets. Things get kind of interesting. So very cool. Syncopated. So you start getting some really cool different rhythms, and you know, that's where things kind of get interesting, especially with mixing everything together. So we can come back out of here, and our third part is the ARP. ARP is very cool, and especially that you get, you know, 2 per engine, 4 all together, so you could have the same sound. And I love layering ARPs together. If it's done right, you get some very cool and interesting results, which you can out of this thing. It's just, it's pretty magical, even though you've got, you know, your follies down in the selection, sound selection there. So very cool. We're going to talk about that there. So again, you have your rate here. Your rate's going to be for all of them. It's going to be a little bit more important for your ARP, so pay attention to that. You got your choice of directions, up and down, as played, random, chord, you know, self-explanatory down there. Again, we can shift the pattern left and right, as well as in that gated area. And, well, you know, they call it the step. I kind of call it the gate. Anyway, that's me. You can change the steps, and we can come into the pattern once again and change that too. So this would be kind of like a gate within the ARP. So your notes are going to play here, and that's kind of self-explanatory to me anyway. Hope you understand that. And last but not least in this selection is the loop. So loop is kind of cool as well. We can change the timing. This is another really important part over here to match up with the DAW. And we can slide this up and down on the sample. We can also choose when it starts in that sample slice in there. And stacking would be, so if we don't have it on stack, let's take this down a little bit. Let's take it to quarter so you can get a little bit more of a understand what's going on with stack. So stacking is going to, you know, it's going to be able to play the rhythm to your playing style. So you'll be able to stack it instead of it lining it up for you. And I think that's, you get some cool results out of that as well. So that's it. So that's basically the heart of this whole thing. I think we've kind of gone through that. That's what you're going to get. And then the interesting things is when you start adding the other one, and then, you know, a whole other sound with its whole other section over there. So you get really cool results out of this thing. Very cool instrument. And after you have your pulse engines and you send it through, you know, your sound through 1 and then through 2, it's going to come up and come over to effects if you want it to. And in effects section here, we have our global tab, which is going to affect engine A and engine B. And they will both share it and come through it at the same time. And our selection for our effects will be EQ. And below it, we see our on-off buttons. And in the global, it's all white. So that's kind of cool. They, like I said, the UI is just so wicked. I mean, no matter where you're at in this, in one of their instruments, you just look at it and you can kind of tell what the heck is going on. And one of my favorite things, I wish all instruments kind of looked like this. EQ, compressor, phaser, chorus, our limiter, a filter, delay 1, delay 2, very cool, and reverb. So that is for the global, which affects everything globally. Now, if we click on either one of these, it doesn't matter how you click on it. You can click over here, you can click over here, which kind of leads you to believe that it's kind of weird to me. It's a little misleading thinking that you're going, if you click over here, that you're going to be controlling this side. But basically, they take you to the same interface down here, which is for both of them. To actually click to have it turn on one or the other, you have your on-offs on each side. So say here EQ, and if we want pulse A, we turn on pulse A over here, and that turns green. And if we want pulse B on, we turn it on. You can see that the yellow lit up. So like I said, very cool. You can kind of tell what's going on. In here we have a couple different selections than what we have in global. We have our EQ compressor like the other one in global, but we have some different selections here with lo-fi, tape saturation, drive, stereo spread, another delay here, reverb, and flutter. So pretty cool. Flutter is definitely awesome. Let's check out Flutter and put it on there. Yeah, so there's the effects, and that's pretty much wraps everything up, except for here. And we're going to talk about this, which is very cool. All their instruments have this here, and we can really dive into controlling parameter controls in here. And to do that, we have this little tab right here on the right-hand side, right next to copy. If we click on that, you can see that we have a sign here. So navigate to a parameter inside of Signal, then click the knob or slider to assign to this slot. So pretty cool. So we can go to an effect and say we want the lo-fi here. We can hit rate, and over here we see rate now, and that's gonna control that. Come back over here, we can bypass that, and then we have our range control. Pretty cool. And you can see as we start messing with that, it's connected down there. And that goes for all of these. We can assign you know, macros to everything. And this is just for one, so each one of these can be assigned the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different selections. So definitely for morphing things very quickly, it's very cool. I love their version of stacking effects onto one parameter, you know. Very cool. I can't stress out how in-depth this kind of gets. So 2 corresponds to 2, you get another 6, 3 corresponds to 3, you get another 6, 4, etc. So that is Pulse Engine here. Very cool. While we're in here, I kind of want to talk about something else here. We're going to turn that off here. Let's turn that back on, actually. Macro assign mode. So I'm actually in a assign mode. Let's cancel that. And you can see that that was up there. When I hit that, it was still stuck in assign mode. So it was just waiting for me to tell it something. I turn it off, I can see my menu again here. Now I just want to go through another thing. And so here again, talking about things that were missing. And I've gone through and found quite a few of these. And then the other instruments too. And I'm really diving through and going through these very fine, like, to find out exactly what's missing, and I'm writing everything down and I'm emailing them. But number 5, preset, nothing. Hitting the keys, I don't have a thing. No sound at all. No memory either stored in contact, so it doesn't register. And that's with quite a few in this instrument, and also quite a few in the other instruments. So that was Signal by Output. Very cool product. I like it. Definitely has its faults. You can get some wonderful results out of this thing. I don't quite use it that often, and I see why. Not to say that it's not cool, and when I start playing with it and I get into it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's all right, that's cool. You can get some cool stuff out of it. I would like to be able to like maybe add things in here, and maybe you can through Contact. You know, maybe you can add your own sounds. I know you can manipulate things. I don't have the full version of Contact yet. I haven't really felt the want or need to do that yet, but I wish I could maybe manipulate these a little bit more. I wish I could put better sounds in there. I wish they would given me better sounds to begin with on my purchase, and that's one of my really big issues with this product. And then the air poly's not working, clean poly's not working. There was some keys up here that were not working. An instrument, felt piano, had missing keys that were not working, along with some other instruments. And the perks down here were not really going, they didn't sound right. And let's go into percussion real quick. We're going to end it here, and I'll kind of play some percussive stuff. I feel like I'm getting different results. So you can almost hear that thump, and the one said it almost sounded like a bass drum being hit, and you can hear it in there, but when you go to the core sound, I didn't hear it. So what is going on? So let's go in here. A sine plug. Oh, so these are sine plugs. So they're getting that noise out of something that's not even a drum. Very funny. I find that to be weird. Let's go back into something else and see if we can get to the core of that issue. Obviously, that's what pretty much all the sounds sound like. That's nothing new to me. That's the... It's going to sticks, but everything sounds like it's 8-bit anyway, so I guess I was wrong. I thought I heard some actually drums that were in there, but maybe not, because what I'm hearing is the same garbage that I actually heard in there, so maybe I was mistaken into hearing actual drums. Now, you know, you got drums in there and you can use them for it, and yeah, they're okay. You got some stuff, but to call it a percussion section was a far stretch of wording. So there it is. That's my take on output signal pulse engine. Love, hate, very good things about it. You can get some cool results, but on a fundamental level, I feel like they've really dropped the ball, and it's a subpar instrument. So like I said, I love it and I hate it at the same time. So there it is. Go check out the other videos. I've done breakdowns just like this of core samples and core elements of all the other ones. We've done brass and winds. We've done exhale. I think I haven't done rev or X loops yet. We're going to dive into substance, which is kind of another bugaboo for me. It was okay, I guess. I feel the same way about that one too. And long strings, yeah, I mean, I like that too. But brass and winds, definitely very cool. And their FX, awesome. So next video will be also about the customer service and you know, dealing with a company on a customer base. So I hope you got something out of this video. I feel like I gave it to you real and raw, and I didn't really sugarcoat anything or try to sell the product, or I'm not trying to discourage you from it either. I think looking back, I probably could have spent some money on some more Heaviosities or some other libraries that I probably would have used a little bit more. I mean, there's nothing like some Heaviosity. We're going to be diving into these later. So there you go. My name's Krios, Ableton Advanced community. If you got something out of this, please hit that like and subscribe button in the lower right hand corner, and I'll see you on the next video.